Am I the a-hole for telling my parents I'm going to be as big a problem as my sister from now on? I, 17 female, am the responsible kid according to my parents. I have 2 siblings, 14 female and 11 male, and my brother and I get along because we're both pretty quiet and easygoing. But my sister is a complete witch, to put it frank. She throws a fit whenever she doesn't get her way, and usually my parents just give in because she's a big pain to deal with for days. She always has to be the center of attention, and she causes problems to get attention when she's not. Gets really freaking old. I drive them to school and pick them up now, and our mom gave me money to get us fast food for dinner, since she and my dad have a work thing and won't be home till late in the evening. My sister likes McDonald's, but I hate it, and we always eat what she wants. So I say we're going to Sonic, because I know my brother likes their food and so do I. My sister insists we go to McDonald's, and I told her I'm driving, so I decide where we go. And both me and brother are tired of McDonald's, and she can shut up and deal. She starts screaming at me, tries to call our parents and doesn't get an answer, and eventually sulks and refuses to order food. I get an extra pack of chicken in case she changes her mind, and take us home. She has a screaming, crying fit to our parents later about it. Over freaking McDonald's! Later, my mom says I know how she gets, and to just humor her next time. And I say I'm not going to anymore. And also, it's awful that she gets her way all the time, and they need to tell her to can it and make her do stuff me and my brother like sometimes, or leave her at home. My mom says she's difficult and we're more easygoing. So I say, so you're saying I'm too nice and I need to be difficult to get what I want? Assignment understood. I'm going to be as much of a problem as I can from now on. Then I started not doing any more chores than she does. None. Using some of her more irritating phrases to the parents and loudly complaining about anything she wants to do. And now I'm the bad guy and being mean, and they say I need to be the mature example. But also it kinda worked, cause they finally made her go to the restaurants we like and never get to go to. Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. It seems your parents are neighbors. And though I don't really recommend your course of action, it seems to work. It also stopped doing things for the sister. Can you pick her up? Nope. She's going to scream and cry about some arbitrary thing, so she can figure out her own way home. Here's money for food. Not for her. She'll scream and cry if she doesn't get what she wants, so give her money so she can sort it out herself, while brother and I get food. Can you take the trash out? No, I feel that I just enable her as that is her chore, not mine. If you're not holding her to her chores, why should you hold me to mine? Anyway, don't become hated by your parents and kicked out because you're taking a stand. Get a job, make money, study, whatever you do, and move out and go low/no contact with your sister, unless she suddenly stops being spoiled. I agree about not recommending this course of action, despite how satisfying it is. Just because OP is 17 and approaching an age where her parents can kick her out, or refuse to pay for college, etc. Definitely recommend moving out if it's an option, but at that age, it's not possible for a lot of people. And OP shouldn't burn bridges that she might need, and soon. They won't kick her out. Who would they get to do free babysitting and chores? That's what I'm worried about, specifically the chores part. Opie has her brother. Are all of the chores they aren't doing being pushed into him? Babysitting won't happen, but chores? Those I can see being pushed. Real chores don't start till 12 in my family, so he only has to make up his bed and clean up his room. But he's on strike now too. Not stay home. Bravo. Your parents failed on raising your sister and you and your brother suffered. Now your parents can deal with the fallout of their bad parenting. I'm glad Opie is nearly an adult, but I'm sad for her brother. Parents deal with the fallout certainly, but they always have that unconditional parental love to lean on when it is hard. Little man better hope middle sister attends an out-of-state college. Next story. Am I the a-hole for not letting my brother christen my new home's bathroom? This has been happening since yesterday. I'm pretty sure I'm not the a-hole, but my family has me doubting myself. Anyway, my husband, 31 male and I, 28 female, just bought a house several days ago. It's really exciting. We've been living in his apartment for the past year, which has been fine, but I'm really looking forward to having something that's truly ours. As you might guess, my family has been excited too. After we closed the deal, we went out to dinner with my mom, dad, and one of my brothers. Let's call him Kyle, 30 male. Kyle has a story about him. Apparently, when we all moved into our first house when I was about 4 and he was 6, Kyle was sick. But almost immediately after moving into the home, went to the bathroom and took an absolutely nasty dump on the toilet. Afterwards, my mother turned to my dad and said, "Well, at least someone christened the bathroom." That's it. That's the whole story. I've never found it particularly hilarious or anything. It's just one of those stories that your parents like to tell every few months, and you smile and nod along. Kyle, on the other hand, absolutely loves the story. Ever since then, whenever somebody in the family moves into a new home, Kyle insists on christening their bathroom. He did it when I moved into my apartment. He did it when our eldest brother moved into his home. But I'm certain he did it when he moved into his own apartment. My parents also find it pretty funny that he continues to do this. At dinner, Kyle made a comment about looking forward to christening the bathroom at myself and my husband's home. My husband obviously had no idea what this meant, and my parents had Kyle explained it to him. After hearing the story, he muttered something, and then quickly moved the conversation along. Later that night, he told me in no uncertain terms that he thought it was a bizarre tradition, and he did not want to take part in it. Even though I personally don't care either way, I find it stupid but harmless. It's a perfectly reasonable opinion to have, so I agreed with him. I was talking to my mom last night, and when we discussed the dinner we'd had, she brought up telling my husband about the tradition. I told her that we would not be letting Kyle christen our bathroom, and she tried to persuade me otherwise. I said no. I thought that was that, but since yesterday, she, my dad, and Kyle have all been texting me that I should follow the family tradition. I texted my eldest brother though, and he said I should stand my ground, and obviously my husband agrees with that. I don't really plan on changing my mind about this. But guys, am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. No family traditions should involve fecal matter. Tell your brother that you feel bad for him that the highlights in his life is taking a dump in someone else's house. Also, to your family that they have no better stories than a child taking a dump. Their whole traditions involve turd. Congrats. Not stay home. This is a bizarre tradition. And honestly, why have your parents encouraged it for so long? Kinda cute when he's 6, not when he's an adult. If he wants to be the first to christen your bathroom, he can also be the first to clean it. And as a way to discourage this, I wouldn't have any toilet paper in the bathroom the first time your brother is over. Then maybe it won't be so much fun for him. Better have no towels in there either. Your brother will find it funny to expand the tradition. Just tell your family someone already used the bathroom after you got the keys. There, it's christened. I don't mind toilet humor, but this tradition is disgusting. Not stay home. LMAO. This is the best AITA in a while. Not stay whole. Sometimes traditions need to die. I remember as a kid, my brothers and I had a mini competition to be the first to do things in our new house. And it was all ridiculous things like first to climb out of the basement window into the backyard and first to spit on a flower patch. It was like some of the Guinness Book of World Records things that make you wonder why anyone would bother to keep track of that. I can't imagine trying to turn it into a tradition that I spit on a flower patch of every home my family lives in, because I'm not a 9-year-old anymore. Next story is titled, Am I the a-hole for threatening to ban my cousin from living at my vacation house after how she treated my daughter? My 42 female cousin, 40 female, sometimes stay in mine and my husband's vacation home, which is like an hour away from our town. My mother also lives there regularly. Sometimes my mother will take my daughter into vacation home during the time periods when my daughter has no school. My daughter is 12. My cousin has 2 daughters as well, one 9-year-old and another one 3-year-old. This time my cousin stayed at the vacation house during Christmas period. Due to mine and my husband's work schedule, we couldn't have time off during Christmas. So my daughter went to stay there with my mom and my cousin and her kids. Recently, we started talking summer plans, and my daughter said she doesn't want to go to the vacation home if my cousin and her kids are also there during summer. After I asked her to explain, my daughter told me that my cousin would always yell at her and force her to babysit the kids so she could smoke. watch TV, or be on her phone. She would also ban my daughter from doing her interests. My daughter loves gaming, and we've got her first gaming PC, which she brought with her on the vacation house. My cousin apparently banned my daughter from playing at her PC because she's giving a bad example to her kids, and that as long as she's around, my daughter is not allowed to play games. My daughter also told me that one night she was watching Lord of the Rings, and my cousin's oldest daughter saw some scenes, got scared and started crying, and that night my cousin forced my daughter to give her the DVDs of the movie and banned her from watching TV or movies without her permission. I confronted my mom and asked her why she didn't do anything about any of this, and she said she wasn't aware because my cousin probably did all these when mom would not be present. I have a hard time believing that, but my mom apologized both to me and my daughter. I called my cousin and cussed her off for how she treated my daughter, and I reminded her that she's only a guest at a house I and my husband own, and it's also my daughter's house, and she's got no rights bossing around my daughter. She apologized at first, but then defended herself, saying that as an adult, she's also responsible for my daughter and she did what she thought was best. My husband and I decided to give her one more chance, but told her she'll be banned from being a guest if she does this again. My mom and her called us the a-holes and said we should just accept the apology she gave instead of threatening to ban her. Am I the a-hole? Now for the comments. Not the a-hole for what you said to your mom and your cousin, but you would be the a-hole if you subject this on your daughter again. You are being far too lenient, giving her another chance. I don't plan to. Their reaction showed me that I should never leave my daughter on their watch again, and it's also a decision my daughter made and voiced. Let's be honest, your cousin didn't apologize to you or your daughter. She apologized that you were angry with her, then justified what she did. Your daughter can't use your vacation property because of your cousin's mistreatment. That alone, the fact you decided you can't trust them, means they shouldn't have access at all. Not the a-hole. If she's not planning on continuing the behavior, she shouldn't be mad at the fact she'll be banned if she does it again. That's exactly what I told her after. That I only mentioned she'll be banned if my daughter tells me she pulled something like this again. Her argument on that was that I can't always rely on my daughter's words without hearing the other side first as well. I suggest adding in-home security cameras. If there is an issue or something, you can see it for yourself. Not the a-hole. Your house, your rules. Does cousin or mom pay any of the house expenses? Power? Water? Gas? Internet? If they don't, then they are both guests and need to be reminded of that. They can call you an a-hole all they like, but in the end, you have the final say on who stays. Most of the expenses of the house are paid by my husband and I. My cousin only pays for her personal groceries alone whenever she's a guest. My mom will pay a small share of water and electricity bills for the time she might stay there, but majority is covered by my husband and I. Now for the last story. Am I the a-hole for telling my brother's fiancé the truth? I, 21 female, have an older brother, 29 male, who has been divorced twice. It is about to get married to his fiancé of 2 years, 26 female, and she has a party celebrating the fact that she got engaged a few days ago. I was invited, but my brother wasn't, since she wanted to have a little party with her friends, and since she wanted to bond with me, her future sister-in-law, she also invited me. So I started chatting with her and her friends, and later in the night we started to get a little tipsy. Then suddenly she started to talk about my brother, stating that she couldn't believe that he never gotten married before since he is such a handsome man. But it didn't make sense that she said that, since he was divorced twice and one of his former wives had a child with him. Then she started to talk about him, saying things that wasn't true, like the fact that he was a lawyer when he worked at a hotel as a janitor, and that he was making $150,000 a year when he was making minimum wage. At this point, I was shocked because of how all the things she was talking about was untrue, so I asked and told her this, and she said it was my brother. I was confused as of why he said that, but I knew that before in his previous marriages that he had verbally mistreated his wife, so I knew either way I could not let this slide. I brought her to the bathroom upstairs and told her everything, and I mean everything. She looked shocked, and after I finished telling her, she went downstairs, got her stuff, and said she felt sick, and left. The next day comes around and my phone was blown up with messages, missed calls, and DMs from my family and brother about what happened. It turns out that after she left, she went to her house, where my brother was at a time, confronted him and broke up with my brother, then kicked him out. My family and brother are calling me an insensitive witch and a home wrecker. I don't feel bad about telling her the truth, but I do feel bad about ruining his engagement. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. You saved that girl's life. She deserved to know who she'd agreed to marry. Also, what did the brother think was going to happen? If you tell someone lies but don't tell people who know the truth about lies, they're likely to out your lies whether they mean to or not. It's pretty hard to afford a lawyer's lifestyle on a minimum wage janitorial position, so she was bound to find out the truth pretty quickly anyway, soon after the wedding. Exactly. The lies weren't sustainable. She would have found out sooner or later, but all Opie did was ensure that it was soon enough for her to make an informed decision. Wait, so your brother, a janitor who makes minimum wage, nothing wrong with that, lied to his fiancée about his previous 2 marriages, a child and overinflated his wealth by a factor of 10? And they're witching at you for letting her know. Yeah, not stay home. Don't forget he said he was a lawyer too. Like, what is the endgame here? It's kind of hard to hide the fact that A, he's not a lawyer, B, he is a janitor. See, he's been married twice and has a kid. I guess that one's easier if he has no contact. But you'd have to rely on everyone you know not to blab. Does he think that the truth will eventually come out, but she's so smitten with him that she'll overlook everything? And seriously though, either he's a really good liar, or she's really gullible if she didn't know any of that. How could he hide that stuff and for how long? Update. Am I the a-hole for offering to make sweet 16 favors for my coworker's daughter, but scaling down because the daughter was rude to me? Original post. I run a small family party business from my home as a second job. My coworker is a single mom with 5 kids. Over the years, I have offered a few times to make party favors and decorations for her kids' parties as a gift. Things are a struggle for her, and I just wanted to do something nice for her kids. I buy all the supplies, and my labor is free, and is their gift. The scale and cost of everything changes depending on the event. I do this for my nieces and nephews as well. I enjoy doing it, and I think it makes people happy. A few weeks ago, I offered to make sweet 16 favors and some decorations for a small restaurant party for my coworker's daughter. One night, I FaceTimed with the mother and the daughter, and we were discussing colors. She picked light blue and light pink as her color scheme. That's not colors I normally would associate with a sweet 16, and I mentioned it to her that I was concerned it would look more like a baby shower. She snapped at me and said, "I want light blue and light pink." Okay, got it. A few days later, I'm speaking to the mother that I wasn't finding a lot of sweet 16 items in that color scheme. She picks up the phone and calls her daughter on speakerphone and explains to her the issue. The daughter abruptly says, "What part of light pink and light blue does she not understand?" I know she is a child and has had a rough road, but am I the a-hole for not going the extra mile making them? I offered to make favors, and I will make sure they are beautiful, but any joy I have making them is totally gone. Normally, I would do a couple of surprises along with the favors, but I just don't have it in me, and I feel terrible for being upset at a child. I feel like such a terrible person. Any advice on what I should do? Now for the top comments before reading the updates. Not the a-hole. You generously offered your time, money, and talent as a gift, and while the daughter may be young, being rude and dismissive kills the spirit of your kindness. You're still honoring your offer, just scaling back the extras, which is entirely fair. You're not a terrible person for feeling disrespected, you're human. Set your boundaries with grace and move forward with what feels right for you. She's closer to being an adult than a child. At 16, you know how to behave. The only leeway I can see here is that the daughter didn't know she was on speakerphone. She's still a brat, but if she thought only her mom could hear her, maybe, just maybe that's why she had the attitude she did. It really depends on how that first convo went and what kind of attitude she had when it was pointed out that those are more baby shower colors than anything else. Not the a-hole. I have no problem with you scaling down your efforts, but I do have a problem with you keeping silent about how you've been treated. Tell her you didn't appreciate her snapping at you, and you don't appreciate her daughter talking down to you like that. And remind her that you do this as a business, and we're going to get her these favors as a gift. But even if she was a paying customer, you expect to be treated with decency. If you're certain you want to go through with the favors, you can tell her you're going to do this for them because you said you would, but you think you deserve an apology. If not, you can just confront her about the behavior and see how she responds and decide how you want to proceed based on that. Not the a-hole. If the mom heard and didn't correct the daughter, it seems like they both feel entitled to your money, time, and labor. I would back out entirely, but that's up to you. Agreed. Back out entirely. Kids need to learn words matter and they have consequences, speakerphone or not. Now for the first update. Last week I was looking for advice on a situation. I run a small party business from my home as a second job. I had offered to make sweet 16 favors for a coworker's daughter who was having a small restaurant party. I was paying for all the supplies and the favors were my gift. My coworker is a single mom with 5 kids. I really offered because of my relationship with the mother. We worked together over 20 years, and I really do love her. She's had a very hard road the last few years. 2 really crappy husbands, and honestly terrible taste in men. Anyway, I had planned on making her favors, and then surprising her with going to the restaurant before the party and use matching tablecloths, chair covers, and fancy balloon centerpieces. The mother and I had talked about this, but the daughter did not know. It was going to be a surprise. I just didn't feel like doing the extras after she acted like that. So to answer all the questions that came in, the daughter absolutely knew that this was my free gift to her. She knows there's no charge for this. She knew that I was on the call both times. A number of people thought I was rude for saying I didn't like the color scheme. Unfortunately, I'm a doormat. The daughter set the tone of the conversation early on, and there was no way to get it on a positive tone. All I could think is that she didn't like having a small party and that she wanted something much bigger, but her mother cannot afford it. A number of people thought that this might be a coming out party of some kind. I know that it's not. A number of people thought I was being too sensitive, that I needed to get over a rude 16-year-old. I deal with rude people every day, and I do it with a smile. Honestly, it's a gift. Being rude just means you're not happy. But I was upset because I've known this child since the day she came home from the hospital. I would have hoped I meant a little more to her. Apparently, I was incorrect. I know better now. A number of people thought the mom was wrong for not correcting the daughter immediately. Sadly, I agree. It was such an uncomfortable conversation. She apologized for her being a teenager when we got off the phone. I thought it was a cop-out. I definitely think the daughter has the upper hand in the mother-daughter relationship. Getting me involved is just awful. Lastly, so many people told me not to make the favors, to tell the daughter that I was unable to find what she wanted and unable to make them. I am going to make the favors, but I'm not going to do anything else. I had budgeted $150 to make the 18 favors. To be honest with you, I'm broke. $150 is definitely something I don't need to spend, especially on a kid who is extremely rude. I totally offered, and I will absolutely make them, but I'm not going to do anything else. Let's explain me. I can't help volunteering. No matter what it is, I'm the first one to volunteer. I offer my time and my party supplies way too easily. I am at the point now where I do more free labor work than I get paid. Even if somebody pays for the supplies, it never covers the whole thing. It always costs me something. I have to start working on getting paid parties and less free stuff. But I'm really having a hard time with so many people who are so used to getting my services for free. Last week, a woman asked me to make favors for her daughter's college bed party. In the past, she had paid for only my supplies. I explained to her that I could no longer do it, but I would have to charge her and give her a good discount. She was totally upset that I had the nerve to ask her to pay. I've done 4 or 5 things for her for free in the past, but for some reason, she felt I was in the wrong. She complained to so many people about me. How dare I charge her? Meanwhile, we're not even close friends. My Reddit family is a harsh judge. You have given me some perspective to realize that all of this is absolutely my fault, that I allowed my friend's daughter to talk to me that way, and that I'm stupid for making the favors. I just don't have it in me to not make them. But it's really pushing me to take a stand and set some kind of boundaries, because I can't keep giving it away for free. It is going to be the death of me. I'm way too stressed about meeting deadlines for people for free and not taking on more paid work. Wish me luck. All this over not your daughter. Need I say more? Exactly. I don't even feel like I can give advice here, because OP is such a doormat she won't actually take it. Hopefully she's sincere in saying it's pushing her to make boundaries. Honestly, I would have put that girl in her place on the call, and if Mom had an issue with it, Mom can provide the favors. One of my favorite sayings is, "You're not a victim, you're a volunteer." This is literally you. You volunteered to do this, and then keep tripping over yourself feeling bad for wanting to rightfully check a snotty bitch. The first time she did it, I would have warned her, "You talk to me like that again, and I'm out." It is not on her, Mom, to uphold your boundary, or lack thereof. I would tell your friend that based on her daughter's rude and entitled behavior, you won't be providing the favors. And stop offering stuff you can't afford. Second update. So the party is this weekend, and I brought the favors to work today. I made 24 pink gift bags with blue tissue paper and matching wired ribbon. Each bag has chocolate-covered pretzels, chocolate Oreos, and chocolate marshmallows, labeled chapsticks, cute pink sunglasses with the birthday girl's name on the side. My friend thinks her daughter's going to love them, which I'm happy to hear. As I walk away, she asked me if I can do one more favor for her. She wants me to make a favor bags for her boyfriend's daughter's bed party. Bed party is for high school senior girls. Their friends bring them swag from the college they were accepted and decorate her bed with the school colors. Honestly, I was floored. I have never met this girl, and no, my friend did not offer to pay for the favors. I told her I'm so sorry, but unfortunately, I can't. She said she understood, but for the last few hours things have been weird between us. The old me would be making these favors. The new me says no. I have to remember no as a word. I have been pretty good about saying no to people since my last post. The only thing I have agreed to do is 2 raffle baskets for a childhood cancer fundraiser and 2 baskets for my kids' school fundraiser. I know I'm a work in progress, but today my friend reminded me that I need to think of me first. Proud of you. Make sure you get receipts for those raffles so you can write off the expenses on your taxes. If these people have paid for 20 people's meals in a restaurant money and throw a bed party money, they have paid the gift bag provider money. Your friend isn't a real friend. She's a user. Start establishing new habits at work to cut down on any socializing or conversational opportunities. Parasites like her will try to socially punish you, and it will be harder for her to get to you if you're not engaging in conversation or other little routines. Your coworker has a lot of nerve. She doesn't appreciate, she expects. And anything you do apparently just leads her to expect you to do more. Saying no was the right thing for you to do, you will just have to ignore her attitude as best you can. Yep, and remind yourself that she is not a friend, just a greedy entitled co-worker with a rude daughter. I guess the apple didn't fall far from the tree. Keep practicing saying no, OP. Last story. Am I the a-hole for telling my neighbor to stop using my assigned parking spot after she parked there every day for weeks and got mad when I called her out? Okay, so this might get long or make no sense. I honestly don't even care anymore, LMAO. I'm still low-key mad and confused? How the heck did this turn into a whole thing? I'm 30, live in this little apartment complex with 20 units. Every apartment has their own parking spot that comes with rent, super basic. I've been here for 3 years, always parked in the same spot right outside my building, easy. Then 2 months ago, this lady, I barely even know her for real, I just see her sometimes in the hallway, never really talked, starts parking in my spot. I think she's late 40s, maybe 50s, I don't know. We're calling her Karen because, yeah. Anyway, the first time it happened, I figured, okay, maybe she's just dropping something off or forgot which spot was hers. Whatever. Didn't say anything. But then it keeps happening, every day. I'd come home and boom, there she is, just vibing in my spot like it's hers. So now I'm parking across the lot or squeezing into visitor spots that aren't even close, and it's super annoying. Especially when it's dark or raining, or I've got groceries, or literally just want to go home and not do laps around the building. After like a week, I left a little note. Nothing mean, literally just, hey, this is my spot. Please don't park here. Thanks. Like friendly, I even put a smiley face. I was being nice. Next day, she's at my door, mad. Like, full-on annoyed face energy. Says she has permission from the landlord to park there because she doesn't have her own spot. I'm like, huh? That's news to me. Told her, okay, but could you maybe show me something in writing? Because this spot is in my lease. I pay for it. It's mine. She starts getting loud like, I've been parking there for weeks and it's not that serious. And says I'm being rude for asking. I was like, bro, I'm not even yelling. I just want to park where I'm supposed to. Then she says, why don't you just share it? And I swear my brain stopped working. Like, girl, what? This is not a snack. We're not sharing cookies. It's a parking spot tied to my apartment. What do you mean share? Anyway, I told her again, if she really has permission, then cool. Just show me. If not, can you please just not park there? She gets mad again, says I'm being hostile, and she's gonna tell the landlord I'm making trouble for the building. So the next day, I go to the landlord and ask what's going on. Turns out she has zero permission. Like, flat out no. Landlord was like, yeah, no, that spot's assigned to you and we don't reassign them unless there's paperwork. So I'm like, okay, great, thank you. Please tell her to stop. Thought it was over. LMAO no. She starts being all passive-aggressive. Parks like right next to me. So close I literally had to crawl in from the passenger side once. Leaves notes on my windshield like, selfish people make bad neighbors. Like, girl, are we 12? What is this, middle school? And then I find out she's been telling neighbors I'm harassing her over a one-time mistake. One time? She's been doing this for weeks. Lying to everyone like I'm some psycho over a single incident. I literally left one note and asked a question. That's it. And then, last week I come home and she parked sideways in the visitor spot behind my car, so I couldn't even leave. I knock on her door and she straight up won't open it. Just yells, deal with it, through the door like, huh? Okay, boss battle unlocked, I guess. Had to call the landlord again and they literally had to come move her car. I felt like a child tattling, but what else was I supposed to do? Now the whole building feels weird. She won't talk to me, just death stares. Neighbors are like, what's the drama? And I'm out here just trying to go to work and park my damn car. Like, I've been polite. I didn't cuss her out. I let the landlord handle it. I asked like a normal person, but she turned this into a whole neighborhood saga over my parking spot. Like, bro, I pay for this spot. What are we even doing? So, am I the a-hole for not wanting to give up my own spot that I pay for? Or should I just let her keep taking it and park 3 blocks away like some kind of NPC? I just wanted peace, and now I'm living in a sitcom with this woman. Unbelievable. Now for the comments. Dude, don't engage. Just call a tow truck. Yeah, you are done being nice. Next time she parks there, tow truck's coming. Simple. Of course you're not an a-hole. Report everything to the landlord. Take pictures. No need to be nice to this screeching harridan. Document everything. And stay calm. It's wild she escalated it this far. What someone on my street did 40 years ago when someone was blocking their drive every night was bang on their door at 2:30 a.m. to get them to move it. It took 2 nights for them to stop, but they did stop. I had a neighbor from hell who would park with their car just far enough into my driveway to block me getting out. I would leave notes, threaten to have them towed, bang on their door. One day they would not answer but had their windows open, so I shouted inside, "You have 10 seconds to answer the door and move your freaking car or I'm calling the cops." They called me a fat bitch, so I told them, it takes a special kind of stupid to piss off the neighbor who volunteers with the police department. Maybe you want me to tell them about all of your drug dealing and other illegal stuff you do? Never seen them come out so quickly. More heated words were exchanged, but they never parked there again. Oh, and of course I reported them for their illegal activities. There was already an active investigation by the police, and a sting was ready to go down in the next couple of weeks. I knew that. Being part of the investigation as a witness and a member of the citizens on patrol They didn't. The worst part, however, was that the sting actually didn't go down. What happened instead was that they murdered one of the other tenants. Turns out they were running an illegal halfway house. The property was seized and sold. Date. Am I the a-hole for breaking up with my girlfriend for suggesting an open relationship and not letting her explain? Original post. My girlfriend of about 5 years recently suggested an open relationship. I know what it is, but just in case I misheard, I asked her to elaborate. And yeah, pretty much what you would think. She wanted us to be able to have sex with others. I took a deep breath and said that we were done. I've seen and heard stories about open relationships and know that there's no way in hell I'd ever want one. She tried to take it back, but I told her that the fact she had the nerve to even ask is a deal breaker. FYI, we had never done anything with another person, and I have never suggested any of it. So there's no way I ever gave her any hints. This isn't something I'd want. I didn't even listen to her and just ignored her as she kept trying to explain and apologize. I just packed some stuff and went to stay with my parents. She's been trying to call me, but honestly, I feel like asking for an open relationship is basically asking for permission to cheat. Now for the comments before reading the update. In hindsight, she could have been a POS and just cheated on you. She didn't, and she came to you knowing you breaking up with her was a possibility. I applaud her honesty, but at the end of the day, you have the right to leave. Applaud her for doing the bare minimum, the absolute bare minimum of not cheating on me? Realistically, there was likely emotional cheating at least already. It seems typical that when this is suggested, the woman already has a partner in mind. Good for you. I applaud your self-respect for staying true to your values. Just wait. After she realizes you're not coming back, you'll see who she wanted to cheat with pop up in her socials. Yeah, when someone who has never expressed any interest in an open relationship suddenly wants one, at best, there's someone waiting in the wings, and at worst, they've already cheated and want to make it acceptable. That's how my first marriage ended. My now ex-wife started suggesting an open marriage, but said she had nobody in mind. She just wanted the option hypothetically. However, she'd been hanging out with the one single guy in our local friend group and hid it from me. So I immediately knew what was happening. She denied it completely. We mutually agreed to end things, and she immediately began dating him officially. 6 months later, she wanted to vent about him to me, and I said I didn't want to hear it. She made her bed. I was out of there, much happier afterwards. It was a blessing in disguise, and I met my new wife a couple of years later, and we've been together over 10 years. Yup, similar. My ex-wife and I had been having issues for a while. One night she hung out with an old high school friend. She came home and proposed being open. I originally thought it wouldn't be that bad. Years earlier, we had a one-time MMF action with a co-worker of hers. Might have turned ongoing, but he got weird in general and relapsed on something and left town. But either way, we never had any issues between us over it. Anyway, she began sleeping with him immediately. It hurt me worse than I thought. And she kept vetoing me doing anything with anyone else. Because despite sleeping with another guy regularly, she wasn't ready for me to do the same yet. Finally, another girl sent me a topless pic. My wife flipped out completely. Told me I had to cut the other girl out of my life completely, and she would consider not sleeping with her friend for a while we figured things out. I literally walked into the bathroom, looked at myself in the mirror and thought, I can't do this. I can't be a man okay with his life being like this. Ended up leaving the next day. For the record, my ex-wife wasn't a horrible person. She just became so selfish and hypocritical. She wanted her cake and eat it too. She wanted to be able to have her fun and yet come home to a completely loyal husband. I was fine with it being open both ways, though didn't prefer it. I was fine just closing the relationship. I couldn't do what she wanted, authorized cheating. That was a wild left turn at the end. My ex-wife isn't a horrible person. She's just a selfish hypocrite with a collection of the worst personality traits possible for a human being to possess. who controlled me and treated me like garbage. You make fair points, but my ex-wife was my best friend for 4 years before we even dated. We went through a lot together. I try really hard to not be that guy and make it out like my ex was crazy and I was a saint because I wasn't. In this situation, she was a terrible person, and it brought out all her worst traits. Now for the update a few weeks later. So I had to see her again at our old place, since a lot of my stuff was there. She did try to convince me again that she didn't mean it, and that she didn't need an open relationship. Honestly, reading the comments from my last post kind of helped me prepare for this, to be honest. I had an idea as to what to expect. I told her some things you just can't take back. Some questions just can't be unheard. She did try to explain again, but honestly, I ignored her as best I could. I just don't feel safe with her anymore. I don't feel comfortable staying with someone who even wants to explore this. Like the idea that she wanted to go out and bang others, come back and act like nothing happened, genuinely makes my stomach drop. Like she was 100% okay with that? I did some self-reflection and asked, would I ever ask her something like that? No, I really wouldn't. I feel like some things just change the way you see people. I mean, if I told her I want her to get cosmetic surgery, she'd be hurt. I know she would. It's something fundamental in you, like you're not good enough for your partner, and they actively want to change you or your relationship. I don't know. I am sad this happened, but I don't regret it. Reading your other thread, she said she didn't have anyone in mind. No, she absolutely did. She said she didn't mean it. No, she absolutely did. Good on you for having a spine and dumping that trash. Good riddance to bad rubbish. Bet as soon as you broke up, she called the new piece and it wasn't what she liked, so now she's like, oh, we don't have to do that now. The other dude was just trying to bang a married chick without taking all the husband responsibilities, like paying all the rent, utilities, dating expenses, cars, and all the headaches from a marriage. Once the girl said, he is not going for it, but I can be free, dude went, oh no, I don't want you free, not trying to be your boyfriend or husband. Then girl backtracks. Classic. Next story. Am I the a-hole if I, 31 male, pretend I don't know my fiancé, 29 female, is cheating until it is convenient for me? Guys, I need help here, and need help and advice. I am finishing my last 6 months or so in medical school, at which point I will be moving on to my residency in my specialty. I have been with my fiancée Amy since high school. She has been my rock and supported me a ton through all of my schooling. I did work for a few years before deciding to go back for my MD. Here is where this gets messy. Earlier today, I ran over in a gap in my day because I forgot my laptop charger. I knew Amy was home because her car was in the driveway. I headed on in and heard her in the bedroom, with the unmistakable sounds of sex happening. I snuck around the corner enough to see her with a guy I had never seen before going at it. She was banging another guy in my bedroom, in my bed. My stomach just dropped, and I left before they saw me. I had no idea what to do. Now, to be clear, I am done. My question is not so I break up with Amy. Absolutely I do, but here is my question, and I'm not sure what to do. I can't afford to not have her help support me and stay where we are. My name is the one on the lease, but I can't afford it. So do I say screw it and break up, not knowing how I can afford to pay for living and finishing 6 months? Or do I just pretend I have no idea and use this time to finish and prepare my escape? What the heck do I do? I am crashing with a buddy from school tonight, but I don't know that I can do that forever. She thinks I am just doing a cram session and has no idea I was there or saw them. Does it make me the a-hole if I use these last 6 months as payment for her cheating? Not the a-hole. Use her. She is using you. No harm, no foul. It will be hard to keep your mouth shut, and what are you going to say when she wants sex? Good luck. Honestly, I haven't even thought that far ahead. I think I'm just so angry that I just want to make the best situation for me and set me up for success without her. Dick move? Maybe. I'm just furious. Just quietly stop having sex, assuming you don't want to continue. Pretend like you didn't even notice how much time has passed. When she brings it up, say you're just not feeling it, but keep it casual. Basically, you're just gonna try to sell her that your libido's low, maybe due to finals or something. If you need a more involved explanation, you could say you started taking antidepressants or something, but I don't know if that fits with your life. But dude, for the next 6 months, you will be kissing this gal, and maybe she had someone else's junk in her mouth like an hour before. Are you sure? You raise a very valid point. Get tested for STDs now. My friend's wife got herpes and tried to blame it on him, but when he was tested and came back negative, she had to tell him she had been cheating on him. I mean, this girl tried to spread that he was a cheater and everything. Crazy. Next story. Am I the a-hole for recording my friend's fiancé at her bachelorette party and playing the recording for him? I was invited to the bachelorette party for my friend's fiancé. It was over the long weekend at a vacation rental on the beach. There was booze, a hot tub, great food. It was definitely a hit. At one point, I was on the deck looking at the ocean, and the bride was drunk in the hot tub with 2 of her friends. She said she felt more relaxed than she had in a while. I assumed she was referring to wedding planning. One of her friends asked if she was having trouble with the little monster. She said no, that he was manageable for now. At that point, I realized they were talking about my friend's son. I took out my phone and started recording them. The bride's friend said horrible stuff about my friend's son, and the bride responded positively to everything, laughing and agreeing. Then she said that it was too bad he wasn't old enough to send to military school. I stopped recording when their topic changed. I don't think they ever realized I was close enough to hear them. When we got back, I asked to meet with my friend, and I played him the recording. He was quiet while he listened. After the recording was finished, he asked me to send it to him, which I did. Then he asked me to delete it, which I said I would do but haven't yet. I feel like an a-hole for interfering. I really do. However, I'm worried about my friend's son. Depending on what my friend does, I might need to send this recording to the poor boy's family. I feel like I've overstepped, but what else can I do? Was I being an a-hole? Now for the comments. I get why you feel conflicted, but protecting that little boy matters more than some social boundary. If someone was trashing my kid like that, I'd want to know too. And that's a huge red flag, especially when marriage and potentially a future co-parenting role is on the line. Marriage changes dynamics, and if the bride feels this way now, imagine how it could escalate once they're married. That kid deserves better. You weren't being an a-hole, you were being a concerned friend. If someone is about to marry a person who openly disrespects their child, they deserve to know. It's better he finds out now than after they're married. Not the a-hole for recording and sharing with a friend, but potentially the a-hole for keeping the recording after he asked her to delete it. The fact that she's keeping it to potentially share with more people, if her friend doesn't take the actions that she deems appropriate, is not sitting right with me at all. Not the a-hole, and hopefully he'll put his child before his junk. Worries me that he's not going to since he asked his friend to delete it. Last story. Boyfriend found an old photo of a guy with his head on my chest. Now he says I micro-cheated before we were even together. I am a 24 female and my boyfriend is 25 male. Have been in a relationship for over a year. Recently, he was going through my gallery and found a pic of a guy with me. He had his head on my chest. He was a friend, but to the best of my knowledge, neither of us had any intentions or interests in one another. Of course, I can't speak for him fully. I wasn't even aware that I had this pic. I genuinely didn't think anything of it. He deleted the pic as soon as he saw it and deleted it from recently deleted folder. Just for context, the date on the picture was a little over a month before we became official. He got upset but dismissed the matter. Days later, he brought it up again, and I explained that I didn't have any intentions of being with this guy. I apologized saying it was wrong, and it's not right for someone to have access to me like that, especially someone I have no intentions of being intimate with. I'm generally a very friendly person, and I'm always hugging everyone, even the homeless. I knew it's something that would be an issue in due time, and it's something I've been working on. We fought. He broke it up. I went over to his house, we made up, and he apparently forgave me. Days later, he brought it up again and made me apologize for micro-cheating on him and being disloyal, and that I betrayed his trust. I first explained that it can't be any form of cheating because we weren't official, though we would go on dates and stuff. In the beginning, he used to give slight hints of not wanting a relationship, but that's besides the point. Even then, I didn't want this person in the picture at all. I proceeded to apologize for the micro-cheating, the betrayal and everything, because it was getting exhausting. But later it didn't sit right with me, and I told him I'm only apologizing for giving someone access to me like that, because I know it isn't right. But I'm taking back every other part of my apology that says I acknowledge the micro-cheating and being disloyal. As much as I do realize that it hurt him, I don't think I owed him loyalty during the talking stage. I chose to be loyal to him at the time nonetheless, because he was the only person I was talking to, but I don't believe I owed it to him. Now he is saying he can't look past it and can't view me the same. He can't get the mental picture of another guy on my boobs. He feels deeply hurt and doesn't understand how I feel I didn't owe him loyalty. My thinking is messed up. Please advise me. How do I handle this situation? Am I the a-hole? He's establishing a precedent that you are a transgressor and less than in this relationship. He wants you perpetually on the back foot and scrambling to earn your place as his girlfriend. This is a calculated undermining of your self-esteem. Exit now before it really starts to work. Please listen to this, OP. I experienced this and was mentally exhausted for 2 years. I finally had to break it off when I realized every time I did something new wrong. His phrase was, I can let it go, this time. Don't let this guy any further into your head. He's creating a situation where you owe him for forgiving you so he can behave horribly without you being able to defend yourself because you owe him. He'll be able to justify all jealousy and control because, according to him, you cheated on him. Not the a-hole and go far away. Run. See this for what it is. He is a controller. He cannot get past something that preceded your time with him. Red flag city. He is not the one for you. Please leave him be and let him know that you cannot be with anyone that does not trust you. Period. Please block him as he will continue to win you back and control you. Absolutely this. My ex-husband used to get so hung up on a guy that I casually dated before him. It's been more than 15 years, and apparently it is still something he thinks or talks about. We haven't even been together for over 7 years, and his current fiancé has heard about this guy. Someone I never think about anymore, and who my ex never even met. When we were together, he tried to throw it in my face all the time, even though I was 100% not in the wrong. Run, OP. It's not worth it.